All right.
All right, we on?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. Shalom, family. All right, this is Sharpening Swords. This is Daniel. I'm here with Bishop Jonathan. All right, we're here to destroy a very foolish and I should say wicked Christian doctrine. Right, and that is what they call the prosperity doctrine. All right, now most people that maybe came out the Christian church or maybe are still in there should be familiar with this. This is where the pastors tell you that you're obligated to pay them tithes every week or however often you get paid, right? But we're going to show you according to scripture that's bullcrap, man. It's absolutely false, right? This is not what the most high intended, right? So we're going to go to some scriptures, right? First off, we're going to start off with some scriptures that they like to use to push this doctrine, all right? So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to go to Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8. Pull it up.
You want to share your screen, or you want me to share my screen?
Might be you're on your laptop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably better for you, Gavin. I'm using my phone.
All right. Malachi what?
Chapter 3 and verse 8.
All right, this is Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings.
All right, so this verse right here, the pastors will used to say, if you're not paying tithes, you're robbing God and blah blah blah. All right, keep reading.
Verse 9. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
All right. Sorry, read verse 10.
Oh, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
Right. So right there, they're going to use these couple verses here to say your blessing is pretty much embedded within paying your tithes, and when you don't pay your tithes, you'll be cursed, and when you do, you're going to get some sort of blessing, right? But this is absolutely false. Number one, tithes was never it was never money in the first place, right? And we're going to show you some scriptures as well that's going to back that up. All right. Next, we're going to go to Genesis 14 and verse 18.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God.
All right. Continue. Yeah.
Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 20. And blessed be the Most High God, which has delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all.
Right. So there's another verse that they used to say. You see, even Abraham had to pay tithes, right? But this man, they call him Melchizedek, right? He says he was a priest of the Most High, right? Not only that, just to get some background on what's going on here, Abraham he just went to war. I believe this was the war. The 7 kings. He went to go retrieve to retrieve Lot, So he gave this man spoils of that war because he was the priest of the Most High, under the orders of Melchizedek, but as a different topic, right? But these pastors, they'll use this to say that you're obligated to pay them tithes, right? But these are not priests, man, right? So now we're gonna get, unless you have something to add, we're gonna get into what tithes actually is, and how it's supposed to be done.
All right, which verse?
So we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 14 and verse 22. Start there.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
Sorry, read that again.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
Right. Take note. Take note that it says you shall tithe the increase of thy seed. Now what seed? This could be anything from livestock to to granary, even grapes, stuff that grows on the vine. But continue.
Verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The
Right.
tithe. Okay.
So right here now, it's going to tell you exactly what this tithe was, right? And you're going to know, you're going to see that it was never money, right?
Hold on one sec. Let me see something. I gotta send a link to the elder.
Right.
Oh, let me stop. 1 second. Hold on. Slovakia. Hold on 1 sec. I'll be right back.
So finally, while the brother's gone, I'll just talk real quick about what these pastors do, man, and how they tricking their members to pretty much empty out their pockets every week, to convincing them pretty much that they must give them a tenth of whatever they make, right? And depending on how much they make weekly, that could be a lot of money, man. When it adds up, that's why you see some of these guys come out here with private jets, all type of stuff like this, having mega churches, I'm saying, living in mansions while the members is just suffering, right, to make ends meet.
Shalom, shalom.
So shalom, all the gear, man.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let me share my screen again. All right.
All right. So yeah, let's run it back from the top. Verse 22.
All right. This is Deuteronomy 14 and 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
All right. So again, we got to take note that it says seed. Nowhere here is this talking about money. All right. Go ahead.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
All right. Now, real quick. Now we know that the place that he chose to put his name, that's Jerusalem, right? So we know that's what he's talking about here. Continue.
Which he
Well,
shall
real quick, one second. Up a little bit up where it says sow a seed. That the field bring forth the seed. I guess that's where the pastors get that sow a seed business, and they like they get it from that. Is it sow a seed of $1,000 and sow a seed of $500?
Damn.
Because I hear them on the screen talking about sowing a seed. I guess that's the seed they talking about, ain't it?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
They lying on it. They're telling a lie just for filthy lucre's sake, to re-divert goods and turn it into money and give it to them. But go ahead.
All right. So 23, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. Tithe of thy corn, of thy wine,
Right.
and of thy oil, and the firstlings of thy herds, and thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
All right. So right here, this is telling you exactly what this tithe was. It consists of stuff like corn, wine, oil, and even the herds of the flocks, right? So so here it's clearly showing you that this is not money, right? But now we're gonna see, because sometimes when you bring this up to a pastor, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, they didn't have money back then," right? But now they gotta explain uh, these next verses, right? But go ahead.
Well, also, we can't miss where right in the same passage it says, in the place where he has chosen to place his name there. We all know what place that is. He chose to place his name, Jerusalem.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's absolutely right. So that's the first thing. Now he said it's to be paid in a specific place, right? So that's one. So we're gonna continue and keep going through this now.
All right, verse 24. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God has blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money.
Sorry, one sec. So now the Most High is saying now, if Jerusalem is too far for someone to travel, because for example, we were here in Canada, right? Now imagine if we was required to take our tithes and bring that all the way to Jerusalem, right? That's a very long way, right? So now he's gonna tell you, if it's too far for you, what to do about that. So go ahead.
Then thou shalt turn it into money,
All right.
and bind up the money in thine hand.
Right. So he said bind out the money in your hand. He didn't say to give it to your pastor. He didn't say to give it to nobody. Right.
Yeah, he also, when it says turn into money, a lot of people will say, well, see, we don't have corn and oil and wine and firstlings of our herd because we're not farmers anymore. We work jobs and we get paychecks. So you don't have to turn into money. At this point, if you was a farmer, you already getting the money. And now he's going to tell you what to do with the money. Go ahead.
All right. And bind up the money in thine hand, and thou shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose,
Right.
and thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, and for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
Right. So Most High, once again, Most High said, if the place is too far for you, you turn it into money by selling the goods that you did have, and then you take that money now, and you go to Jerusalem, and you use that money to buy whatever, pretty much whatever you want, whether it be food, strong drink, whatever the case may be, right? And it said that you're gonna eat this there at the place before the Lord, which is Jerusalem. Right.
And
Go ahead.
a good thing to note, it says buying up the money in thy hand. But the pastor's telling them, put that money in that offering plate or in that envelope.
Right.
Like, they're not telling them to bind it up in your hand and go to the place. They're telling you, put in an envelope and mail it to us, or put it in the collection plate at the end of the service or during the service. Yeah, so he's very careful to say bind it up, meaning you're not giving this to nobody. You going yourself.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't just say take the money, or it says bind it. So trying to that's funny because that's totally opposite of what we see today.
Right.
All right. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Verse 27. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he has no part nor inheritance with thee.
All right. So hold this real quick. We're gonna get numbers 18 and 21 just to show that the tithes this was also for the Levites, and why.
All right. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
All right. So this verse right here is just to show why the Levites are being mentioned here. Once again, they have no inheritance like the other tribes got. They all got an inheritance, but the Levites they were given the charge of the service, the tabernacle. So that's why we give them a tenth of our goods.
Hold on 1 second. Who's this? Let me oh, Slack. We got Samantha. Did you have a question? Oh, she backed out. All right. We got Lions Den, Brother Micah, Shalom.
All right, shalom, bro.
Shalom, brother.
All right. So the link, if anybody is watching and has questions that they would like to come on, that's what the link is for. I'll put it in the chat room as well. Sister, not sure, Samantha, if you're listening and you want to ask a question. Let me go back. So we're in Numbers 18, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna go back to Deuteronomy now to finish that up.
All right, Deuteronomy 14, and
we got 28 now.
28.
Right.
At the end of the 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shall lay it up within thy gates.
Right. So another thing is this, man. So what they would do is, every year, they be collecting their tithes, and they put in what's called a storehouse, like we read in Malachi, right? And then at the end of the 3 years now, at the end of every 3 years, that would be called I believe the year of tithing, if I'm not mistaken. And at that point now, what would they do what they will with these tithes? Whether to turn it into money and take it to Jerusalem, or if they're close enough to just bring everything there.
And if you don't have a storehouse, normally when they built a synagogue or a temple, they would put a storehouse attached to it, so that they can hold it for you, and then you go and collect your tithes and take it to Jerusalem on that third year.
Hold on, Brother Micah has a question. How come Paul collected money for people in the New Testament?
Is there a specific verse You're asking about, brother, or is this just a general?
Yeah,
Question?
brother Mike, if there's a specific verse, just post it, or even just let us know.
Yeah, it was a collection for the saints. He didn't say it was a tithe or a tenth. He just said it was a collection for the saints, um, which is okay because they looked out for each other. Even the apostles had them throw money down at their feet, and then they dispersed it amongst for whatever they needed. So it never said that he was taking a tithe. He just said that it was a collection for the saints. But he can show you the verse if that's the verse that he's referring to.
Yeah, just let us know what verse you want us to hold up. All right, let me go back to Deuteronomy. All right, Deuteronomy 14 and
We got 29 now. Just finish it up.
and the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest.
Right. So this last part here is telling the person if they have any Levites which are living amongst them, or any the fatherless or widows, they're supposed to take them with them and let them partake of eating in these tithes.
All right, so the brother said 1 Corinthians 16 and 1. Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do ye.
All right.
Gary, did you want to break that down? I guess let's go there. Hold up.
I think he did already.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, as it says, it's a collection for the saints, and that they collect and they gathered. Obviously, it's not a tithe because a tithe is every 3 years. They would all have known that. That's the law. Paul kept the law, and they will keep the law to the T of the law, to the letter.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a collection for the saints, for their well-being, just like in our whatchamacallit chat, we're getting ready to do a collection for the 3 boys that mom passed away, whatever. Is a collection for the saints. That's all it says. The Bible does use the word tithes in the Old and New Testament. It uses the word tithes, but it didn't say tithes in this verse. So we have to make the assumption that it's not tithes because it's not being collected as a tithe or in a form of a tithe.
Right. Yeah, the New Testament discerns from the word tithe or collection or offering. Matthew 23:23 talks about tithing. So I think if that's what he meant, he probably used that word. So, brother Micah, if that answers your question, give a thumbs up, or if you need further explanation, let us know. All right. So, Daniel, which precept next?
That pretty much sums it up. As far as the tithes, it's if you're a Christian, the pastor is watching this video, so stop being fooled by your pastor, man. You understand that this is not the Most High will, right? He never told you to empty your pockets out to your pastor every week, right? As you see here, we clearly broke it down for you what tithes is, right? How it's supposed to be paid, and when and where. So, last time I checked, your pastor can't claim to be a Levite, so they can't land tithes from the people, right? If you're talking about free will offering, that's a different story. But these people that they're calling it tithes, and they're robbing our people blind, man.
Yeah, they got the offering already that was given for the church and for the pastor to eat from, but I guess it's not enough for them that they have to go after the tithes as well. They saw and they maybe they see a loophole or something in the scriptures. Um, Most of them would say we not under the law. They don't have to keep the laws in the Bible, dietary law, all these laws, but yet they keep the tithing law, and they don't even keep it in the ordinances that it was given to them, because all the laws came. The Most High gave us laws, statutes, and judgments. The law is the law, whatever the law is. The statute is how you carry out that law. This is how you carry out that law. The judgment is if you don't do it. Um, there was a commandment for no one to touch the ark except the priests, the Levites. And somebody was trying to be helpful when it was going through the doorway. It was falling over, and he put up his hand to stop it from falling over, and he died. Right? The Most High didn't say, "Well, I understand. He's trying to do the best you can do, even though you're not a Levite." You can't. A lot of pastors now will say, "Well, that was given to the Levites in the Old Testament, but now I'm doing the duty of a Levite because I'm over a congregation, or whatever they might want to say." But
Right.
regardless if somebody from the house of Benjamin was doing the duty of a Levite, if he touched that ark, he would have dropped dead. So it's not an excuse that they can use, because I know they use that excuse to say, because I'm doing this job or this duty, or they'll say, well, we'll collect it, but we won't call it tithes. We'll call it something, or people will say, I'll give it, but I won't call it tithes. And it's funny how they wrap up your blessings not in keeping the commandments. They tell you when you pay your tithes, that's how you get your blessings. I had somebody call me, I think it was 2 days ago, and he said there's a pastor that one of his people, which was a friend of his, went to him because he needed some help in his personal life with his rent, and the pastor told him to pray. And he said there was a lady before him that when she was in that situation, the pastor told her, well, have you been giving your tithes? Because if you give your tithes, he's going to bless you back, sevenfold. So now you're in a situation where you need money. Give me more tithes, and the Most High going to bless you. But the thing about it was that pastor later on, and that's why he was asking me, when they needed some money for the church or some upkeep or whatever it was, he had turned to the church and said, we need to, give more, because we need these things. And he wanted to know why the pastor advised them to pray when they needed bread, when they needed money, but he's not praying, or the church is not praying. They telling the people to pay. It's twisted, man. It's all twisted.
Yeah. It's a privilege. Um, the mentality of these guys here. All right, but in conclusion, as the brothers have anything more to add, this sums up this lesson here, right? We pray that everyone soaks up this information. Go back and look over these scriptures. Study it for yourself. Don't just take our word for it, right? The Most High's word is absolute, right?
All right. Gary, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah. Did you guys go over Deuteronomy 26 and 12?
I don't believe so.
We did,
Yeah,
no.
let's go over it, because these pastors is telling them they need to go ahead and bring that tithe every week or every. I was telling somebody, your pastor collect tithe every month. He said, nah, he collect every week. Oh snap. They're running amok. Yeah, let's go to Deuteronomy 26 and 12.
Deuteronomy 26 and what?
12.
12. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase the third year, which is the year of tithing, and has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled, then thou shalt say before the Lord thy God, I have brought away the hollow things out of mine house, and have also given them unto the Levite, and unto the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me. I have not transgressed thy commandments, neither have I forgotten them.
Right. So these are commandments and ordinances that's given to us. And if we break them and do them any other way, this is transgression of the commandment. It's like when remember when Saul tried to do the job of a Levi,
Right.
and he made an atonement, and Samuel came and said, he thought he was keeping the commandment. He said, thou have not kept the commandments of the Most High. He's going to take away the kingdom from you now, for what you just did, and find a man of his own heart. Well, he
Right.
thought he was doing something, but he couldn't do the job of a Levi, and he tried of a priest. And this is the same thing. So what it says in Deuteronomy 26 and 12 at the top, it says at the end of 3 years, which is the year of tithing, right? Read that.
Right. Deuteronomy 26 and 12.
Yeah, where it says this is the year of tithing.
When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase the third year, which is the year of tithing.
Which year is the year of tithing?
The
Third year, right? No different than the year of release. On the 7th year, you release your brother of his debt. It's no different than this. The third year is the year of tithing. Yeah, Israel know when those times are, those appointed times. And these are appointed times that was appointed to do these things.
Right.
And even the Pharisees, they was paying tithes, before, and he said you was right for paying tithes, but you left the other stuff undone. That's enough. Let's go to Deuteronomy 23 and 23.
That's the Deuteronomy or
Sorry, Matthew 23 or Luke 11, either one of them. Go to Matthew 23.
This is Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. Scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye tithe of mint and anise and cumin.
1 second. They paying tithes of mint, anise, and cumin. These are all food. These are herbs, right? So they paying tithes of mint, anise, and cumin's food. They're not using money. Though they had money, they're not using money. But keep going.
And have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
They, like, these pastors are collecting tithes now. But instead of mint, cummins, and anise, they collecting money. They're collecting tithes and preaching tithes, but omitting the weightier matters nowadays. Of the law. They're like, we're not under the law. We don't keep the law. He's telling pretty much the same thing. But these people is paying the tithes. But he's telling them, you're dealing with the tithes, okay, but you leaving out the more weightier matters, the more important matters, right? And he told them what they paid tithes. You see, the Pharisees that did pay tithes, they didn't pay any money. Once again, Jerusalem was there, the temple was standing, the Levites were present, so yeah, they can pay tithes, but they did it of mint, anise, and cumin. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, so I guess that's basically it. Daniel, do you have any more precepts?
No, that's I believe that covers everything. Unless you want to go with the priesthood changing.
Nah.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So, with that being said, Shalom Israel.
All right.